Tide Talk Web, and we're back. Oh my God. I have not seen a game that rough since probably
Oh.
2007.
Yeah. I mean, it was tough, dude. I would say no. I wouldn't say '07. Even La Monroe wasn't that bad when we lost. I think it had to be. I go back to Fran or Schuler or something like that.
Honestly, I honestly did not expect our line to be this bad against a bunch of no stars. I was shocked.
I agree. I mean, and now going into the game, um, they were a little more athletic, which is odd to me. I mean, they were quick off the ball. They were just hungrier. Like our right tackle couldn't do anything. There was no blocking. I mean, the number 0 they had was he's a good player. I'm gonna give him credit's due. He played his tail off, but he just looked like an all world out there tonight.
What
And,
I think what got me even more was you had Evans, that one guy. He had 3 sacks,
mhm.
5 tackles for loss. He had like I think 19 hurries or something. And you would see these. I mean, we'd have 5 down linemen, a running back posted up to block, and just multiple times totally just miss the linebacker. Just not even put a hand on him.
Yes, no, I completely agree with you. It it I don't even know who our let's even let's not go there. I don't even know who our best option at quarterback is. Like I don't even think anybody knows. This didn't solidify anything. I mean, Simpson is good, but I mean, is Milrow our best option because he can still get out of there and move. I mean, he was last week when he was good, but when he was bad, he was bad. But I mean, that's still nothing was definitive this game. This game, we played 3 quarterbacks against South Florida. Like we
And
looked
and,
like Auburn years
and we
ago.
still have no answer. We still, I mean, nobody, not one of those guys separated themselves. Buckner didn't. Simpson didn't. I mean, it was.
No.
I mean, I hate to say it. I think Saban just showed us like we don't have a quarterback room with an answer right now.
No, not at all. I mean, and it's almost like they definitively came in this game knowing that Milrow wasn't going to play. Like, he wasn't going to see the field.
And you wonder, like, and I'm probably way overthinking this. You almost kind of wondered yourself. One is Saban's telling us like, hey, we really don't have nothing at quarterback. One and two, yeah, Jalen Milrow is the best we got, so that's what we're going with. But I mean, I will say this: that what we saw of Buckner and what we saw of Simpson, the passes were better. They weren't like, oh, he's throwing it again. Let me hold my breath. It'll be triple coverage.
Yes, but I mean that's when they could make a pass without running for their life, man. I mean, our line has collapsed. Granted, they had good blitzing schemes, but I mean this was trash. We couldn't
But that was
run. I mean,
that's a subpar defensive line.
yeah. Now, granted, our rushing numbers, the yards. I don't know. I can't even. McClellan had decent, but I mean it. I don't know, man. It was hard to watch, and then the penalties too. Like it's an undisciplined team. That's not a Nick Saban trait at all. Like I'm not getting. It's not. I don't know who to blame it on because it's not the athletes. The athletes are there. Is it the coaching or is it just the players not wanting to have the want anymore? Like it's somewhere, man. But it's definitely you can't say that we don't have athletes or talent on the team.
Oh yeah, and that's why like I'm not really putting it on the guys. Like yes, it's undisciplined. It's
Yes.
bad habits. But like you said, at what point do you look and say, well, we recruited? I mean, we knew Buckner came in because they obviously knew at the beginning of the season what we know now. They did not have anybody they felt comfortable with at all.
Yes.
Um, they keep talking about, man, there's a lot of man meat on the Alabama line, a lot of man meat. Well, it ain't doing nothing. I
Yeah.
mean,
If
that's
you
one of
ain't
the worst offensive lines I think I've seen in 17, 18 years.
yes, if you're that big, man, it's I don't know. I mean,
If you're that
obviously
big,
you're
your
slow.
quarterback should get 3.4 seconds every down.
All agreed, man. I agree there. It was trash. Our special teams was subpar to the extent. I mean, every aspect of the game just needs to be looked at and analyzed. I know that by the coaching staff, and it's hard to say this, but with as bad as they're playing, it wouldn't surprise me if Saban just kind of left this year. I mean, I'm being serious.
I mean, I think we're getting way ahead of ourselves.
I know, but I'm just like that thought came in my head.
You know, it's funny. And like I said, I know we're just kidding, but that thought crossed my mind. Like at the end of the year, he's just like, And I think the thing that's most disappointing for me is the offensive line play. It looks the same as it looked a year ago. There is no difference. I
No,
mean,
yeah.
it potentially could be worse because we have honestly 5 pedestrian quarterback options at this point.
Let me get a sip of this Coke. Sorry, man.
And you look at the guys, and I like Buckner, but I don't think he really got a fair shot because it was pouring. I mean, the bottom was falling out. He couldn't grip the ball. And even Simpson, hell, he got his behind busted several times because he couldn't even plant his feet. And then, you sit there and think, well, somebody had mentioned that I think one of the feeds I was watching about, well, put in Lonergan. He's not going to do any different. You could put
anybody if you're not getting any kind of protection.
You put Washington quarterback back there, Penix, and it probably wouldn't matter.
Yeah. I mean,
if you can't block, it doesn't matter.
No, I completely agree with you. So it wasn't a fair shot, but I mean, the road it's not getting any easier now. It's SEC play, so I mean, there's nothing easy about it.
That's the easiest game we'll have the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, and keep going to credit for our defense. It's very hard to stop a quarterback like that. I mean, when you spread the field and he's that quick and he's that elusive, it's tough. So we'll give a little bit of credit, but yeah, it keeps going back to our O-line play. They were trash, just trash. I don't know how we can get better. I don't know if it was because of wet field, but that was just the first half, and then the sun came out looking like it was beautiful and dried up. I mean, that's South Florida, so it's gonna be wet, but I don't know, man. Like before 07, Simmons' first year, it was subpar, but this is just, I don't know, man. I don't know. The players just not buying into the system or believing. I just don't get it. I don't know what is going on.
I don't want to think, oh, we got a bunch of bad recruits, because that's not it. No. I really, honestly, I don't know what the answer is. We have that new offensive line coach from Kentucky that did miracles there. We got Tommy Reese. I know he's new, so you can't just throw away new coaches like that. It's just the answers to me are, and I'm not banging on the defense because they've been on the only bright spot on this team so far. And I know everybody kept talking about the Texas game. Well, you know what? They held the line for 3.5 quarters. You can't ask them to do any more. You need to open up holes for your running backs. You need to hold blocks for your quarterback to throw passes. Even the wide receivers, they caught everything that came their way. Everything that came their way, the best plays they had were overthrown. Or the quarterback that was on the field today didn't see them. So, to me, all the issues are boiling down to this offensive line and quarterback play, and especially the offensive line.
Yes, I agree. And there's some kind of – the play calling got me a lot too. I mean, I know that, like, Burton and stuff are good deep threats, but, man, like, let's do some shallow routes.
We can't hit a consistent 15-yard pass. You think they're going to hit a 30-yard pass?
That's what I was saying. Let's do some shallow routes. Let's do some hitches. I don't know. Some slants. Like, I couldn't get that, especially with how little time that he was getting in the pocket. Like, why are we doing 30-yard routes? Like, just do something hot. Just a hot route, something. I don't know. Like, is that?
Well, I mean, like you said, even something to get the ball out of their hands quicker, so the defense, can bite on it or something. Get a little separation, get a 5-yard, 10-yard, whatever.
God, yes.
Yeah, and I tell you what, honestly, I couldn't tell you who's going to start at quarterback next week. It may not be Simpson. Don't be surprised if it's Milroe again.
I would. Oh, my God. I think, I would laugh and also cry at the same time. It would be one of those, like, I'm just having a smile because I don't want anybody to see how sad I really am. Because we would be lost. Like, that we would have – there's no confidence on the offensive side of the ball.
And I'll be honest, I don't think Saban and Tommy Reese know who's going to start next week. I think, honestly, they're going to go into practice and they're going to say, okay, let's take whoever performs better. And right now, that's what they're doing. And I'm telling you for a fact, that is exactly what they're talking about. They do not know who will start next week.
No. Yeah, And hold on. Like Latham, I mean, was probably a highlight today. Our center is trash. Yeah, I mean,
That guy,
it,
that's the worst center I've seen at Bama in probably 10 years.
yes. I mean, he's just trash. Like it. You remember they were substituting, so it's the ball's is dead if the offense substitutes, the defense gets substitute, and so USF was substituting, and he snaps the ball. Like I didn't know, like
I
I
mean,
mean, the
I'm
stuff like
sitting here like, what clown world are we living in?
I know if Saban, I don't. It didn't tell you he was getting mad. I think he was just adding up in his head how many times he's going to rip into people. Like it's just taking mental notes. I don't know, man.
I heard from a little birdie. My dad was telling me he's like, I think Saban's gotten soft, and I'm like, well, hell, he's like 74,
Yeah,
and
his
you
heart
can't
has to.
fix the same offensive line you've had for 2 years in 4 days or 5 days. You just can't. So
Yeah.
at this point, honestly, and this is just me, I would say maybe next week, give it a go, 1 or 2 quarterbacks, and you're going to have to ride one. You're going to have to figure out which one can play the best and the most mistake free and go with it. I would say they're not leaning Milroe because Milroe, he likes to throw into triple coverage when he gets under the gun.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll burn you right now. Even now, I don't know who's going to play better because Simpson was playing against inferior talent. Next week, he's going to play against some decent SEC talent. So, and the thing is, next week, we better be careful. If we fall behind quick, we can't come back quick right now.
No. That's agreed. And real fast, you see Florida is just dominating Tennessee.
I don't know what's going on. There's something in the water this week, but something is going on.
Yes, but yeah, no, it's going to be a very interesting week of practice. I can assure you that, and I'm just kind of interested to see what happens. I mean, the post game interview with Saban is probably going to be very interesting, and so he normally tells it like it is.
I mean, what do you say? And it's true. You can't fix this offensive line that's abysmal. You can't pick a quarterback, even though you got 5 that they ain't worth a broke dick. So it's,
Yeah.
And I feel bad for the guys. I mean, they're kids. I feel bad for them.
Yes, and at the end of the day, they're young man.
That none of these young men can separate themselves. At some point, eventually, somebody has to. I don't know who that's going to be.
Yeah, and you just got to lock onto him and go.
Yeah, and you're right. And I don't know who's going to be, but, somebody this week needs to really take the bull by the horns, whether it's Simpson, whether it's Buckner, whether it's Milroe. Don't be shocked if you see Milroe come out there for a series or 2 next week early.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, he's got a nice arm. He's got a pretty pass when he's good. It's just last week he would stare down the receivers. I mean, you can't do against good schools or not good schools, especially against the SEC West competition. Like they're going to bait you in. If you do that, they're going to that safety's going to jump the pass every time. And so,
every time they're going to get you, and they're going to watch your eyes. And like you said, and then again, if the line don't block, and I ain't going to lie to you, man. I honest to God, don't want to lose to Pete Golden. I'm sorry. Kiffin, okay.
No, not at all. Yeah. I mean, Kiffin just because of his play calling ability, and he's going to put up points. Like, I don't care who Kiffin's going to put up points. He's just going to play chess. But yeah, just having Golden, like, if we can't score against a Pete Golden defense, everybody scored against us when he was our defensive coordinator.
Everybody.
Yes, not just little. Like how are you putting up like 35 points on us, man?
Last year when we played, it was the Helen Keller for gifted kids. They scored 4 touchdowns on us, and we barely beat them in the 4th. So, yeah. And they had a blind quarterback. So, I mean, I'm just kidding. No offense to anybody that's blind or any of that. We love everybody. Everybody's awesome. But I'm just reiterating the point that everybody, it didn't matter who they were. They could have been Nicholls State. They could have been Murray State, whatever, North Texas State. They scored on us.
Oh, yes, 100%, man. I agree with you. It was tough. It was very tough to watch and just the agony of it, man. But hopefully next week it steps it up. It's because it's like we keep saying, it's going to get worse and worse. Hopefully the play calling gets a little bit more efficient. If they see that we're like I said, if that pocket collapses, because right now everybody's just seeing that the right side's trash, and I would
Mm-hmm.
just attack it. I'm going to attack it
I'd
till you
load
fix
up.
it.
I would load up. I'd load up at
Yes.
least 2 out of 3 downs. If it wasn't, and I would, I would do the same thing. So it's
Look, man.
it's plain to see. Like it all starts in the trenches. If we can't block next week, we're finished, and it's early. We're finished because they're going to put up points quick. They're not going to wait around. You know, and our defense is good, but we can't hold them over 3 quarters. Ain't no way.
No, not at all. No. But yeah, brother. Well, I don't know. Hopefully, we'll come back around to this after the post game and see what it's like. You want to do another one of these tomorrow, homie?
Let's do it, man.
All right, brother. I'll see you, man.
All right, buddy.
All right, brother.
Bye.
Bye.